So I made $1 million with my psychic mediumship abilities within 3 years. And today I want to share with you how I got started, how I grew my empire, and what was the energetics and the strategy behind it. So this is a little bit of a different type of video than what I usually do, but like always, I want to pull back the curtains, have a no fluff approach, and tell it to you straight. I tell you what other psychic mediums and spiritual workers will not tell you, which is how I actually do it. So welcome back if you are one of the OGs, or hello if you are new here. My name is Victoria Bond. I'm a psychic medium, a spiritual empowerment coach. I'm a mama, and I was brought up Catholic for most of my life until I went through my awakening at 33 years old, and it was a big old shake-up, and I've basically been talking to spirit and teaching mediumship ever since. So I'm so happy that you are here, and I cannot wait to dive into this video. So I'm going to be really vulnerable today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and I'm also really hoping, and my intention is that you will see some of your story within mine, and we can really connect and resonate, and maybe you might even take away quite a few golden nuggets that will help you create more money in your entire life. Now, you don't need to be doing psychic mediumship readings to make lots of money. There is many ways we can use our gifts to monetize, and the truth is, your gifts, your God-given gifts, are literally here for you to be paid for. That is the whole entire point. The mission that you're on is so deeply connected to your purpose that you are here to be paid to be you, literally. Okay, so let's talk about how it started for me. So, I've got to tell you guys something really straight up. We don't just wake up and then we're successful. Now, in this fast-paced world, I was reflecting on this today. I was like, when I started doing all my social media and sharing like my gifts online, it was about 8 years ago or so, and there wasn't so much competition. Now, what I mean by that is we had not yet fully awakened. We were all starting to wake up, and I literally jumped online and just started sharing my experiences on a Facebook community. I wasn't planning on being paid for those gifts, but the truth is we were literally just kind of waking up, and the market was not so saturated. Now, on the other point of what I want to say there is you are so unique within your gifts that you have not missed the boat, okay? Social media and YouTube and all of these incredible, amazing, beautiful resources that technology gives us is literally resources to create massive amounts of success. So the first $100,000 that I made in my business as a psychic medium, as a spiritual empowerment coach, literally came on the back of having a Facebook group with only 300 people in there. That is right. You don't need a massive big community and following to monetize your genius. You don't even need a platform, but we love these platforms. We love technology. You are currently listening to me here right now from somewhere in the world. Let me know where you are in the world. Pop it down below in the comments. I always love to see where people are. And it really enables us to have relationships around the entire globe where we get to share our gifts backwards and forwards. So when I started, I literally just was like, whoa, okay, I had this big awakening. Like I said before, I was 33 years old. It was like breakdown to breakthrough kind of moment. Hands together on my knees, praying to God. Oh my God, like everything is just rupturing. I don't even know who I am. I've got babies. I haven't slept for God knows how many years. I'm not feeling aligned with my career as a hairdresser. My body was kind of like doing weird things and making me go to sleep when I was doing hair, and I was getting all sorts of aches and pains. And I straight up had spirit whispering in my ear. Not in a way that you would think, right? It was more like my ears ringing. It was more like mind chatter. It was more like my ears getting hot. It was more like, what the hell is going on in my brain? I thought I was going kind of a little bit crazy. I didn't realize that was the other side. trying to connect in with me, right? So, just a little bit of background there because I want to let you know I wasn't born with this gift where I was like, oh yeah, I see dead people and, put me on a TV program because I see it clear as day. No, I discovered the gifts that I have. And I believe, and I want to reach as many people as possible here in 2025. So please feel free to share this video if it resonates with you. I want to reach literally as many people as possible because I believe that we all are psychic mediums. I believe that we all have spiritual gifts. We all have superpowers. We all are X-Men. I believe that we get to be paid to be ourselves if we are in alignment with our soul's purpose. We get to take on the mission. Okay. So, anyway, I'm really passionate about this. So, that's why I wanted to really talk to you a little bit about me and how this has come about. And I'm really curious about you and like where you are on your mission right now. Maybe you're just kind of like going, maybe I've got these gifts. I just found Victoria Bond on my YouTube. She just kind of showed up and she seems kind of just like me. She's a mom, she's 40 or whatever. Like maybe you are just kind of coming into this where you want to go a little bit deeper, or maybe you're one of the ones that kind of like was like, I've always known this stuff, I was privileged enough to be brought up from a mom who did tarot cards. I don't know what your life has looked like up until now, but I know that you're here for a reason right now listening to this, and I would love to connect with you on what that is for you. So feel free to make this kind of workshopy and pop the comments in and we can kind of chat. So anyway, how I started was I was like, okay, I'm having this awakening, but I like to talk and I want to share this. So I started a Facebook community and I very quickly deleted that Facebook community. I probably had about 5 people on it. If that, I think I invited like 5 friends. Out of like inviting the friends, I was like, nope, 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 no. And I was like, okay, I'll invite like 5 of my closest friends, okay? Not even my family members, nobody. And I was like, I'm going to share what I'm learning and awakening up to here on this page. And then I think within 24 hours, if that, I just deleted it because a friend said to me, Victoria, your punctuation and your spelling is really bad. And someone had to tell you. So I was like, thank you for telling me. Delete. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. That moment where you're like, I just want to hide under a rock. I'm so grateful for my friend, but seriously, like, who did I think I was to be able to share my voice, especially on Facebook? Even my sister-in-law has said to me, out of everyone in the entire world, it surprises me that you, out of everybody, are actually creating an online space like in a digital platform. Like, what the fuck, Victoria? You suck at technology. And I'm like, I know. But I'm not alone in this. Of course, I have a team as well as many, many spirit teams. So I did the Facebook page, I deleted it, and I just sat there really, really embarrassed. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it again. But I can't do this alone. So I might just get, my husband to proofread my posts. And, with time, practice, you get better and better and better at posts. It's just like anything. Your handwriting gets better the more you write. If you don't even write for like a month or 2, you're like, oh man, my handwriting's pretty shit, right? But we get really good at whatever we practice at. So I had my little Facebook page and I started going to spiritual fairs. I knew I wanted to push myself to get amongst communities of like-minded souls because I'd been brought up Catholic. I'd been brought up getting my kids, I got my kids baptized. I was baptized. I went through Holy Communion, First Holy Communion. I went through confirmation. I got married in the Catholic Church. My sister got her child baptized and all the things, right? Like Catholic family. So going into the spiritual world and learning about chakras and entities and oracle cards and crystals and pendulums, like I knew what pendulums and oracle cards were, but I didn't know anything else. I was told to stay away from that. So I wanted to find a community. So community is really important. So online and in person. So I went to spiritual fairs. I became really good friends with the person who was creating these wellness fairs. And she was like, she saw something in me. And she's quite a bit older than me. And she's like, Victoria, we need to start doing classes together. come and co-teach with me. And I'm like, okay. So we started creating these like little like circles where people would pay us like $10, $20, $30 or whatever, and we would teach what I was learning. Okay. Sometimes I would just sit there and kind of support her. Sometimes she would sit there and support me. But we started teaching about the chakras, about meditation, about, I think we did reflexology one day. She taught me a crash course on reflexology, and then I kind of like helped her do the whole class. We started getting innovative and literally started connecting with people in the community, and it started expanding. Next minute, I'm doing consciousness classes. So I went and did a course, learned a modality, and started teaching these courses. I did about 50 of those, and I would have like anywhere from 4 to like 20 people in these classes. And I started realizing, whoa, there's becoming like a ripple effect as I am showing up and constantly stretching myself from having the Facebook page with 5 people and deleting it, to getting 100 people in or 300 people in one, going to a wellness fair and selling a few crystals and doing like $10 card readings and really stretched for that one. And then, of course, creating our own circle groups and teaching people. So with a good like 100 or so workshops under my belt, I was just like, okay, it's really time to start expanding. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I'm actually making some money. I've been invited to go to different countries to teach these consciousness classes. Like, this is kind of getting pretty cool. It's definitely the direction I want to go in. But I did have a feeling, like an end goal feeling of wanting to reach a lot of people, like thousands on thousands of people, and to let people know that we all have these abilities. Because while this is all happening, my mediumship gifts were strengthening. I was connecting to spirit, learning about soul retrievals, having extraterrestrial experiences, like you name it. My entity of who I was when I got married at 29 in the Catholic Church and became a mom at like 30, like I now was like 35, and I was like, oh my gosh, like my whole identity has really shifted, as well as my belief systems, and I'm so much more confident in what I do and where I'm going and all of that type of stuff. So there was a lot of action, and action really is the cure to fear. Because if we're sitting there in fear and we're holding back, it's like the longer we hold back, the bigger the fear really kind of expands. And we see this with children, right? It's like if they're like, I don't want to go to something, and then they keep going, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And you're trying to convince them, and you're like, come on, you can go, you can go. And the kids end up going, I don't want to go. And they end up having a tantrum where you're like, you pick up the kid, off we go, we're going to this thing. And they don't even really think about it. I remember jumping out of an airplane, doing some, parachuting, skydiving on my 25th birthday. And I'm like a real, let's go and do the thing and not think about it too much. I did it twice in one day. And it was not scary at all. It wasn't until those last few minutes you're in the plane and you're like, oh my God, it's going to happen. But the reason why it wasn't scary is because I was invited to do it. I said yes. I literally booked it, went and did it. Didn't even think about it. Where if it had been drawn out and I was like, oh my gosh, in 6 months' time, I'm going to go jump out of an airplane, and I start thinking about it, it would be such a big deal. But when I think back to my 25th birthday, jumping out of an airplane from however high, I don't even know. I didn't even ask. I was like, just take me to the highest thing. Let's go. If I had thought about it too much, it would have been really, really scary. But I didn't think. And this is an approach that I've taken to growing my $1 million business, where I'm making multiple 6 figures literally like every single year with total ease. And better than that, I literally grew it. So that's how I started. And I grew it and grew it and grew it and grew it. And then I got to tweak it and shift it and change it. I got to re-navigate, ask questions. So I no longer do group workshops for $10 or $20. I no longer pull a card for $10. I no longer do $150 readings. No, because we are constantly evolving, but we must start somewhere. And like I said, in this world where we are like, I want it now, I want my popcorn popped really fast, pop it in the microwave, 2 minutes versus getting out the pot and the oil. And I personally like the pot popcorn. But like, we are always wanting our fries and we're wanting them now and we're wanting them faster and we don't want to wait. So no one that became massively successful just woke up and became successful. And I know a lot of my mentors, because I've invested greatly in myself in the last few years, I've literally spent close to $300,000 on mentors and personal development and business and stuff because I love learning. It's fascinating for me. So energy, time, and money is something that I really put into myself. And what I've learned from my mentors that are making 7, 8 figures easily on a yearly basis, they were not an overnight success. They started off with the one card, or they started off with the circle, or they started off with the Facebook group that they deleted, or the failed launch. And this is the truth that we need to know about, because when we're looking online and we are scrolling away and we're like, that person, well, it's good for them because they have the energy, the charisma, or they're good on screen, or they're confident within themselves. I can guarantee you that it's the minority that start like that. Most of us are shaking in our boots even when we start the Facebook group or pull the first card. And I remember my very first reading. I'm doing hairdressing downstairs in my basement, and I knew that my client was like a part of the spiritual church. I'd seen her or met her at a wellness fair, and I was always shy. I always felt the little Christian girl amongst the woo-woo. It was I couldn't kind of get my head out of what am I doing here. And I knew I could trust her. So I said to her one day when I was doing her hair, do you mind if I do a reading on you? Because I really trust you. And I know that I'm a psychic medium. And I know that I'm here for really big things. I know I'm here to make a really big difference in the world and reach thousands of people, millions of people. But I haven't even done a reading yet. Like, what the heck? And she was like, and I was like, well, I haven't done a reading for anyone I don't know, Like, so how do I know that when I'm reading for my sister that it's correct type of thing? Anyhow, she was like, absolutely. So she comes upstairs, I make her a cup of tea and I say, sit down. And I'm standing there because I am freaking fearful. But the only medicine for fear is action. So I'm like, I'm going to get straight into this. I'm shaking. I'm feeling like I want to like wet my pants in fear, like going to the toilet like 5 times, like totally scared out of my wits because I'm so afraid of failure that she's going to say to me, no. None of that resonated. How many of us are afraid of someone just saying no? And I find this in my mediumship certification program that people are like, I'm so scared to do the readings because what if I don't get it right? So I'm sitting there, I'm standing there and I'm trembling. I couldn't sit. I was kind of like pacing. And I literally heard in my head spirit say, it sounded like my voice, right? And it said, don't use the cards, put the cards down. I was like, what? Because so many mediums hide behind the cards. And it was like, oh my gosh. So I asked for literally spirit to give me an epic reading. So here we were. It was like game on, straight in, just go, right? So I put the cards down and I said, I'm going to tell you what I see. And I literally closed my eyes and I literally saw the guy off Gone with the Wind. And from that, like, I don't even know how old that movie is, but I literally saw him. And then I saw these little children and I saw the color of their skin. I could describe what they looked like. I could describe the feelings. And I was just saying, this is what I'm seeing. And this is what I'm feeling. And then I said, okay, tell me, tell me, tell me. I was literally so shy and so embarrassed. And I was like, does any of that make sense to you? And she said, Victoria, my uncle passed away 3 years ago. That's the best reading that I have like ever had. And literally, like, that was amazing. and I go to readings all the time. And I've been waiting for my uncle to come through. Like, that was amazing. And I was able to go on and go, whoa, okay. And then actually channel through what he was saying, all through the power of my imagination. That was the day that I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't me just teaching spiritual things, like this is the chakra system, or this is what you can use a crystal for, or, empowerment. Like, you can do it, you can be whatever you want. This is about psychic mediumship and how if I can do it, anyone can. So this is how I'd started. I had started by using platforms and resources around me and people and saying, hey, can you do me a favor? Could I give you a reading? I also then gathered probably half a dozen different people, my friends, my sister's friends, and people that were kind of more acquaintances, because I didn't want to get confused, like whether it's because I already knew that information somehow or heard something about that person if they were too close to me. So reading for my sisters or my husband can be sometimes challenging because they're so close to me that I'm like, okay, was that my subconscious having a point of view? Whatever. So I actually got a whole lot of different people and I invited them around at different times. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you a reading. And I gave them a professional reading. And I said, and all I want in exchange is for you to tell me, like, just give me feedback. So, and that was happening during the process because I was asking the right questions. Does this resonate with you? How does that feel? And the person's like, yes. And then I could go deeper in when I was getting responses from them. So that's how I started. But how did I go from doing that? Maybe you're already there. Okay, I'm really curious. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you've got a completely different superpower, like a modality you're meant to bring to the earth. Maybe you are more of a hands-on healer, or maybe you work with the quantum, like quantum physics and whatever it is, right? Money magic. But I wanted to share my experience with you, right? So maybe you've already kind of started. Maybe you're already like, yep, did that like 10, 20 years ago, and now I'm ready for the next bit, the monetizing, okay, the building it out. So once I was doing these readings and going, okay, fuck, I've got something here, and you know when you've got something, because it is so easy, you were like, what the heck? I just read for 90 minutes and it feels like 90 seconds. I did a reading today on the Awakened Community with Victoria Bond on Facebook. I was doing individual readings, reading for the collective, bringing transmissions, channels through. It's really cool. Go check out my Facebook group if you would like to come on in and get a reading. And honestly, after 90 minutes, I was getting like spirit giving me signs saying jump off because your battery is going to die. You're going to pass out because I'm in this channel, so I am just so lit. Source energy is coming through me. And then my internet was like, okay, your internet is low, da 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 da. So I was like, okay, sign, I've got to go. It's 90 minutes, but it felt like a couple of minutes. And I said, you guys, does this feel like 90 minutes? Have we just been in a portal? Like, what is going on here? And you might find it with a video like on YouTube that you find and you're like, oh my God, she's speaking my language. Where did that 30 minutes go? That is crazy. And that is what I find with readings. And that is your superpower. When you're talking to someone, or you're doing a healing on someone, or you're massaging someone, or you're teaching, maybe you're doing some type of video like this, and it just goes, where did that time go? That is because that is what you're meant to do. And potentially, maybe that thing that you're meant to be doing, maybe you're not getting paid for it yet. And that is exactly the thing that you need to get paid for. One thing that I really realized when my husband quit his job as an electrical engineer, as I quit my job as a hairdresser, as when we took this big jump into going into a digital space and creating our empire and creating $1 million within 3 years, we did take this really, really big jump. But what I realized is we all have to do what is so much fun and joyful and easy for us, and we do get to be paid to do that. Now, my husband had a good job, right? It paid the bills just pretty much, and we were okay. We made the mortgage and we had food every week. There was nothing extra, and of course I had to have the hairdressing to supplement that. And one day when I was asking, like, how can this be easier? Because there is proof, there is thousands and thousands of years of proof that working really hard does not guarantee you money. right? There's plenty of slaves in the world that do not get paid generously. There's people that are slogging their guts out with three jobs, continuously working really hard, barely seeing their kids, and like just getting food on the table. And we need to understand that we've got to shift our way that we're thinking and actually be innovative and create something that has got a depth to it, a foundation to it, and build from the bottom up. Okay. Now, hopefully, you're watching this video, and if this does resonate with you, let me know. Put resonated and resonating in the comments so I know. Let me know, because hopefully now with technology being just so incredible and vast, full of topics, you can find the thing that you're interested in and you can actually propel forward. So you don't have to go, here's the one card for the $10 and let me build up like this over 8 years. You can do it faster than me. If you want to make $1 million in your business, multiple six figures every year, every single year, and every single year I cut my workload in half. Like I said, you get out here and you're like, whoa, I'm at capacity, pivot, shift, realign. How do I want to do this? How do I go from $10 card readings to $2,222 card readings, which is my current price for an hour? $2,222 for an hour of a reading with me. Okay. Does that mean that my readings are better now than they were when I was doing a $10 card pull? Maybe not. It's just that I've built my empire, and literally you get to build yours as well in whatever niche you desire to go into, to be innovative and to build your own empire and design it in a way that you want to design it. So here I am, I've done readings, and then I all of a sudden decide I'm getting kind of like popular. People are wanting a lot of different readings. People are loving my things. I'm now up to like 500 or 700 people here in my Facebook community. I've made like $300,000. I went from $100,000 in the first year to then $300,000. And then again, like about $350,000 and then $450,000. It just kept going up and up and up. Those not a correct not correct amounts, by the way. I'm not a person who goes and does the calculator and share how much I'm making exactly, because I don't give a fuck. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to really show you you can make a lot of money too. I don't care about to the cent. I care about a lifestyle, a life by your design. So I decided that I wanted to reach more people. Right? This is how I built my empire. I wanted to reach more people, not just on a one-to-one basis, because that is very limiting. I hired a coach. Actually, she found me, just like everything finds me. It's always an invitation. And I saw her while I'm folding washing one day. And my husband still got his job. I'm still doing a bit of part-time hairdressing, but I'm doing a bit of kind of coaching, and the mediumship stuff's taking off. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this. How do I get to do this? It's so amazing. I'm still feeling a bit stretched with time. I'm still a little bit exhausted because I've got little kids. I'm doing all the things, right? Hadn't yet kind of quit everything and jumped off the mountain, if you will. And so I see a coach, and she's popped up on Facebook. I was very rarely on Facebook. I was just on there to kind of go check my little things I was doing. And she was interviewing someone about the results that she was getting with working with this coach. And I didn't even know coaches existed. I thought that Americans, this is how ignorant I was about the coaching industry. This was a good 7, 8 years ago. I thought that there was like the really, really rich people sometimes had coaches, which was kind of just like an extra because they were wealthy. And I didn't know what a coach was. I thought a life coach was, okay, this is the exercise you're going to do. This is the food that you're going to do. Okay, this is your positive affirmation. So I don't know about you guys, but that's what I thought. So seeing an Australian, I'm a New Zealander, but seeing an Australian, which is very close to home, being a coach and someone talking about the results they were getting, it really kind of pinged me. So I started commenting back to this Facebook Live. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? Next minute, I'm having a conversation with a coach backwards and forwards in the DMs. And we're having a sales call. And I end up working with this coach, even though I didn't know where I was going to find the money from. I had no idea what I was doing. I was not a coach yet. I was just sharing my mediumship stuff and doing some readings. And then so much magic came about. Within a year, my programs started forming. I wanted to reach these many people, and with seeing this coach, it all started curating and kind of the puzzle pieces came together. I realized that my coach was doing group programs. So I joined that and I was like, what is this? Right. So I had one-to-one coaching and group coaching. And I was like, what is this? And how much is she charging? And I could do this because I like groups. I've always wanted to be an actress in front of a stage. I feel more comfortable doing that than I do like having a small group of people talking, right? I'm just like, no, can I tell you something? I like telling people things. So I decided to put everything that I'd ever learned in those 3 years previous from my kind of rude awakening to going on this deep dive exploration of self, going from religious to spiritual. I decided to put it all into one digital program and charge money for it, to test it out, to beta it. That is when I had my first 10K month. And I was like, hang on a minute. Last week I couldn't afford a coffee. Literally, my friend had to buy me a coffee and I was all so embarrassed. And I was like, honestly, I know that I'm going to have a breakthrough because I'm serving these people and they want more and they're crying in my classes. I did these classes every Tuesday for like a month and charged $100 for the entire 4 classes. And I poured my heart and soul and they got like books full of information that I had spent hours writing and printing out. Like I put my heart and soul into the stuff and people are crying. So how can I serve them? What can I do for them? And okay, and how can I make this a full-time job? So that's what I did. I created a digital program. I got someone my husband actually, to put together on ClickFunnels, literally the digital portal. I had a Facebook community. So really, he just had to put my videos from Zoom and YouTube because I didn't know how to do that. I'd push play and then be like, I don't know what else to do. I just talked at the camera about the thing I wanted to talk about. And often, because my lighting and stuff was so shit in my house, I would have to get my cell phone, my cheap cell phone. I never had a fancy cell phone. I didn't have like a freaking new iPhone or anything back then. And I would tape my phone to a little kid's chair. You know those little kids' chairs? Like they're really, really low. I would tape it and then I would find wherever in the house had the best lighting, plonk the chair there, sit there with my pen and paper. I always have a pen and paper. And I would just talk at the camera and then say to my husband, there you go, he'd get home from work and he would have to download the Zoom onto the YouTube. I now know how to do that after 8 years, but I tell you what, I didn't know how to do that for years. And I would go, okay. And then he would just have to help me with my technology because I was so bad at technology. Like I said before, my sister-in-law was like, you and technology, you blow up computers, Victoria. So that was my first 10K months. And then I realized, okay, well, I need to do this again and again and again. Supply and demand. So I served my communities. I made real connections and I literally was paying over here for coaching, which kept my skin in the game, like my coach would say to me. You got to have skin in the game. If you had free coaching, then you barely show up. I noticed this. If I give somebody a scholarship or they win something, they don't even show up half the time. And I'm like, what the hell? This is a $4,000 program and you didn't show up, right? So it's really important to know that charging money for your gifts is the gift to that person that is giving you the money. Okay, let them pay you. And I was the same. I'm paying out my coach and I'm getting these big results. It doesn't mean I was comfortable. I was comfortable talking about spirit, comfortable talking about my gifts. I was still, a little bit like, whoa, this is crazy because I kept stretching and growing, expanding my mind and becoming more consciously aware. But the truth is, at the end of the day, I was going from like 5 people on a Facebook group to little groups of like 5 to 10 people to like 20, like people coming to my consciousness classes and traveling overseas to all of a sudden having like 25 people in a group program first off. But there was a build up before I did that. I didn't just go out there and go, I'm doing a group program, you should come. People would be like, who are you? I built relationships. And that's what's so important to know is right now we're building a relationship. If you're still here watching this YouTube, let me know if you're still here. Give me an emoji. Okay, so This is how I built it. And then as I grew and evolved, I realized, okay, so we all need some who's, okay? Who Not How is a really great book from Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. Benjamin Hardy has been one of my mentors in 2024, which was really amazing. And, Who Not How. So we cannot be the full-time mum. We can't be the like full-time, have the full-time job and have the side hustle, build our empire, study, be a friend. Like we can do it all, but at the same time, we do need help, okay? Because if we are 20% in all areas, then we're never 100%. So I wanted to go full on into different parts of my business. Because I needed to keep serving the people who had just been through my program. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm evolving. So I'd create another program and it was more of an up-level program. Or I'd create a space where people could come in and have more intimacy with me. They could have pocket coaching with me. So I started getting one-to-one clients. So a lot of the time people start with one-to-one clients and I did the one card pulls, of course, but they start with one-to-one clients and then they start doing groups. But for me, I went from doing readings to straight into a group program, and then the one-to-ones came from that, where people wanted to have more intimacy. So this is something that you want to be charging a higher rate for, because one-to-one is not going to give you as much money than if you have a group of people all paying you, say, $100. You can't be having the one person pay you $100. It doesn't make sense. 10 people paying you $100 is $1,000. One person paying you $100 is $100. So when we're thinking time for money, which is the normal way of working, I go and work for an hour, I get paid $100, right? Well, if we change our mindset and go, if I could work less, if I could compound everything and condense it and concentrate it, I can give the same amount of value and get paid 10 times the amount. And this is how we go from $10 card pull. I would have been having to do a whole lot of $10 card pulls to be making multiple six figures. In fact, I don't even know if it's possible. I wouldn't even be sleeping. Where now I can work 10 hours a week doing what I love the most and be making literally multiple five figures every single month. So I'd love to know if you're an entrepreneur, if you are a medium, if you are still here, maybe you're beginning, maybe you're like feel like you're kind of in the middle, you've been in the game for a little while, or maybe you're like quite advanced and you're still here listening because you're like, what is coming next? I'd love to know what is resonating with you. This is quite different, this video. And when I was talking to literally my spirit team, and I was like, I've done some cool videos today and I really want to dive deep into the inner workings of the money magic and monetizing your genius. I've got a podcast called Million Dollar Medium, and I'm literally interviewing people that have done my Magnificent Mediumship program, going, holy shit, I did that 4 years ago. My life changed. I'm like embodied and happy, working however many hours, but and like bringing in the money with the dream clients. So the thing is, I really want to sometimes pull back those curtains, drop those veils, and even drop the woo-woo for a minute and say, we cannot sit here and wait for our guides to bring us the money. We cannot sit here and wait. And I'm so grateful for the coaches that I've had, especially the first coach, right? Because she is actually one of my closest friends to this day. We check in probably, I don't know, once a month, once every couple of months to say, hey, how's it going? Been thinking about you, whatever. And we have a really good catch up. And if it wasn't for her trusting and seeing in me something that I couldn't quite see, because I was just following the scent. I was following the breadcrumbs that spirit was laying out. I was following the fucking feathers and the monarch butterflies. But sometimes we just want to drop the woo-woo for a minute and be human and say, I've got a family to feed and I've got a mortgage to pay. And, we've got clothes to buy. And a lot of people in the spiritual world will have, and this was me included, will have the third eye kind of open. They're seeing stuff. And sometimes it freaks them out. And a lot of people come to me and they go, I am seeing shit and I'm fucking freaking out. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. We've got this. Or their crown is wide open and they're like, whoa, I just go to all these different planets all the time. I astro travel, da 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 da. Like, but they're not grounded. they're not in their body. And what I've really found is the foundations of being brought up the way I was brought up as Catholic was the deeply kind of like on your knees, bowing down and praying. Like, although I don't do that anymore, I still love prayer. Please don't get me wrong. I still love the Mary and Conscious Collective, Christ Consciousness Collective, all of that. But what I found was the quietness, the intention, the depth, the grounding. And when I started becoming spiritual, I started kind of like, what is going on? Because I couldn't hold all of the awareness that was around me. I was no longer fixed on this is the way to be with the Ten Commandments and stuff, which none of that kind of really resonated. I loved the faith and I loved the community. I was more like, holy shit, what do I do with all of this information? Chakras and meditation and quantum physics and science and this and that and pendulums and oracle and tarot and holy moly. And I was like, I'm going to make this real, real simple. Ground and literally drop the fluff, but be in your body. This is why we have so many somatic practitioners and facilitators and healers that are like, let me put my hands on your body. Let me send you the Reiki. Let me help you ground, because otherwise we feel like we're going to take off. We've got the third eye and the crown open. Everything else is kind of closed. It is kind of like not working properly. It's like having a stick in your spokes and it's making a loud noise, or it's, the motor's just not going like nice and clean, like it's been oiled. We want to basically oil our energy centers, our motors. Like we want to oil them all and make sure that we're grounded in our human being. And this is the energetics that I wanted to talk to you about, okay? And then we can talk a little bit more about the strategy. So I would love to know, if you're still here, how this is landing for you. If this has been really helpful, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you send this to a friend, in Messenger, so you know where it is, so you can come back and re-watch it and of course take notes. But the energetics of making $1 million within 3 years whilst only working literally 10 hours a week and being on holiday a lot of the time and like chilling the fuck out. Yeah, I got to that. I didn't just make that. And there was times I worked my ass off because I didn't know what to do. I just had to really gain and grow and expand, And then I came to a point where I was like, okay, I need to re-navigate, align, pivot, shift, and go to one-to-many to serve as many people as possible. So my intention shifted, and with that, so does your capacity. So what I was able to really, really do is to go, okay, grounding the body, getting all of these chakras well oiled and centered, and come into the human being. When we are not in the human, when we are not balanced, when we are not grounded with the other humans and community around us, when we are kind of too much up here in our head, we literally lose our bearings. I always say losing your head, don't lose your head. And I've seen people that have literally gone, oh my God, we are a part of these collectives and we are the premium, we are the capable ones, we are the leaders. And yes, there is a little bit of truth in that. We definitely have leaders and we definitely should be leading others and being led as well. But if you don't have the foundations, if you don't have the depth, if you don't have that energy of like, I get to hold myself. I've been doing this for like 8 years now, so I can hold myself in such a grounded place. But there was times I was like, whoa, can someone kind of hold me? And this is what we see when people win lotto. This is what we see when people have overnight success, is the capacity they don't have it. They can't hold it. So what I invite you to do is, wherever you are in your business, wherever you are in your life, get the foundation. And this is why I did create Magnificent Mediumship certification. Whether people come to me and go, I don't think I'm a medium, or like, trust me, you are. Come to this program and I will show you how to really root down in the foundations of who you are, in your confidence, and also get clear on this bigger vision. Before I said, I had this end goal. I don't know what it is. I just know what it feels like. And it feels like me on a stage reaching millions of people. Now, maybe that's you, but maybe it's about the human body. Maybe it's passionate about children. Maybe you're passionate about healing older trauma or ancestry or whatever it is. We have this, it's really like it's a mission, it's a purpose, but it really is something that you must do. It's something that is your responsibility. I love how Grant Cardone says this on the 10X rule. It is your responsibility to be the best human you can be. And the energetics behind that is working on you. Now, it's really important to work on you first. To be selfish, to be selfless. I did like a 90-minute talk about this today on one of my channels. So to be selfless is to be selfish because you want to really help the world and you get to monetize that. And without you making a lot of money and having a lot of space and energy and freedom, then you are still stuck in the constraints of pretty much this conditioned system that has been your reality up until now. And we all are a part of that system still. We are actually creating that system as a collective, right? Even if we don't think we are, we are. We're a part of the collective, and we can literally feed it and fuel it energy by being successful and showing up and shining our brightest light and being our energetic best self ever and continuously innovating ourselves, our identity, and growing. Or we can just sit there and wait for the world to change, but it won't change without us. We are the ones that are here to lead one another. That's the beauty about it. It's not like I am a light leader and there's only 9 of us. Like when people go, I am a part of this group and we are here to enlighten the world. I'm like, bro, that is called ego. We're all here together. We're all as important as each other. And the energetics is super important. And this is what my program, Magnificent Mediumship, is all about. You imagine everything I've learned in 8 years about mediumship and light language, channeling, energetics, entities, how to use energy, which is a whole different thing because energy is our first language, and then applying that to your current business. Whether it's working with people, with the body, whether it's psychology. I get so many psychologists that come and do magnificent mediumship, and I get real estate agents because they actually talk to the entity of the house. It's the most amazing thing. I get lots of mums and school teachers and nurses, and the reason why I get all of these people is because they are light workers. And they can bring these tools and processes that I teach them, a lot of, things that I've been talking about today, and having processes for them. So you have tangible tools to step forward and to apply, to take action with straight away. And they apply these to their life. And some people start literally winning money, manifesting, I should say, manifesting money, manifesting pregnancies, manifesting. One lady literally got like a $50,000 pay rise. Like crazy, crazy. People have fallen pregnant. They were finding it so, so hard. Basically, your manifestation, you get to magnetize whatever it is that you want to manifest because you're doing the inside work, with or without me, of course. You don't have to purchase my program to have access to this. You can just run from the stuff that I've told you here today. So I'm really hoping that some things have been beneficial because this video is quite unique and different to what I usually do. So the strategies that I use, this is something else I wanted to share with you today. The strategies that I have used, to be very direct and honest with you. I am my strategy. You are your strategy. And when my second or third coach, I've had quite a few coaches, like I said, I've invested like $300,000 into my personal development and my skill set. And I don't even know how many certificates I probably have. And I've pretty much got rid of them all because I don't need a certificate. And I certainly do not need the validation of having superpowers because I know I do. But I think it was my second or my third coach, and she always said to me, I was like, what is your strategy? How are you making like $100,000 a month? Like, I want to do that. And I have done that now. Yay. But, you know, she said, you are the strategy. And she never once told me a strategy. But a very smart man, my husband, who is the other half of my business, like I said, he does all my techie stuff. I just do the channeling. I get to really hone in on my craft. And this is what you can do too. You can do what you want to do and not do what you don't want to do because there's someone else who goes, I'll do it. So what he said to me one day was watch people and what they are doing. Watch how they are doing it because that is their strategy. So although my coach said you were the strategy and she wouldn't give up any of hers, and of course, like why should she? Because we all have different ways of doing things. So she obviously did me the best honor of not giving me a silly little strategy, right? She was just like, no, you're the strategy. So I had to figure it out myself. And what that was is communication, connecting with everyone that is a soul connection with me that has an invitation that invites me to be like a part of their world, connecting with them and kind of like nearly dating. This sounds really, really weird. I know. I told you this is weird. I told you this is the weird way that I made $1 million within 3 years. So connecting with people at whatever level they're at. So a lot of them are not ready to start $1 million business. They are just like, can I just come along and just build my confidence and learn how to read cards? I'm like, 1,000%. Okay, I've got the perfect program for you. Or some people be like, I just really want to be able to connect in with my husband. And I'm like, great, I've got the perfect program for you. I can help you do that, right? So connecting in with human beings and being a human, being relatable, being approachable. That is the first thing you need to do to make $1 million within 3 years. Now, the money will come in many different shapes and forms. I said before, people will do MM and go, oh my God, Victoria, like I just got my inheritance. We had like 3 people get their inheritance early. Like we've had people like win cars, win money, jackpot, lotto, like multiple times. Someone very close to me did MM twice and she got massive payouts, like multiple 5 figures twice into their bank account while in MM. People have got engaged after being together for 20 years. It's crazy. I'm not saying this would happen for you, but this is what happens when we choose ourselves. We get paid to learn. We get paid to read. We get paid to literally do our dream jobs. And it's not just from the humans around us. I can talk about the strategy of one-to-many versus one-to-one and what you should charge. But you are your strategy. And when you're in alignment, when you're doing something like I'm doing right now, which is this video, which I'm so deeply passionate about, because literally, even if one person gets to the end of this and says, Victoria, like, what the fuck? Thank you. I've got so many golden nuggets. I'm like, okay, it was totally worth that hour of me putting that together, right? Opening my heart and vulnerability. And I know that I'm touching souls. I know because my inbox is full of people going, thank you so much. You're my vision board. I can't wait to work with you. You know, I'm manifesting the money right now. And I'm like, okay, well, what can you do to start taking action to really choose that mentor of your dream? You know, what is your strategy? And the strategy is, like I said, connection and holding your standard and literally taking action. So community, holding your standard, which means not going into a prostitute consciousness and giving away all of your energy all the time to those around you. Now, we are literally a combination of the 5 closest people in our reality. So over the last few years, I have really taken that seriously. I have read dozens of books, personal development. I love entrepreneurial energy. I'm a Virgo 3/5 splenic projector. So I'm all about making a difference and listening and learning from mentors. And I've invested greatly time, energy, and money into this. And literally, that means we've got to look around us and see who is healthy and who is not. What are my conversations like? Am I feeling great after being with somebody? Or am I kind of feeling a bit, oh my God, energy, vampire, So our communities are really important in serving people. So is the people that we hang out with and holding our standards and then taking action, imperfect action. If you don't take anything out of this video and you're still here, and maybe you've drifted off, so wake up and listen to this bit, people. Take imperfect action. I think there's a book called Failing Forward, right? Like there's a book for everything, but failing forward, meaning you can't fuck it up if you're moving. That very first Facebook page that I deleted, Love, Light, and Light Workers, like, I mean, how freaking cliche is that? I thought it was clever, but I didn't know there was 28,000 Facebook pages with the same same words, right? So I've had many different Facebook pages. I've deleted them, I've started them again. I haven't just had the same one and built up. 2 years ago, I got rid of one that had thousands of people in it. And I started something fresh called the Awakened Community with Victoria Bond, where people can come in and have a safe place to talk about their spiritual stuff, to talk about anything spiritual, including ruptures and awakenings, right? And I'm in there answering questions. So is my community and so is my team. So I took action and then I'm continuously shifting and changing and growing and creating more things. So my clients, my strategy for making millions of dollars is my clients grow with me. It's not usually a one and done. I've got clients that have been with me for 5 years. I've got clients that are like, sign me up for the next thing. I don't even care what it is because I love being in your vortex. So when we take action, we are continuously growing and evolving, and we are like bumping into walls to find the door. And then we go, well, there's the door, in through we go. Now we've got to navigate this next space. Stay on the edge. Stay edgy. I only do everything, even down to these videos, with things that scare me a little bit, that take me a little bit of courage, walking with fear, taking the actions to get out there and go, okay, let's go. Because today, people, we're going to change some lives. Now, maybe you're like me and you didn't know what that end goal was. It's just a feeling. Right. And a lot of people that come and do my Magnificent Mediumship, or they come into my spaces like my spiritual membership, they are just like, I've got an inkling. I just saw you on YouTube and I was like, okay, I'm going to go check out your website. Oh, I'm going to DM you, or I'm going to jump on a 15-minute clarity call to see what I need to do, where I need to go. Right. And I still have clarity calls open. My coaches have been like, you don't need clarity calls. You can just do it through this. But I love to connect with people. Like I said, number one, connecting with people. That's the biggest strategy. Number two, who the hell am I hanging out with? I don't have the same friends as I did 3 years ago. I got completely different friends that are actually a lot more high vibrational and are super positive. And they like doing things with me, like woo-woo things, like breath work and somatics and talking about spirit. Yay! It's so good. And they love making money too, right? So, and then taking action. Be a go-getter. Keep moving even when it's feeling crunchy, even if you can't see the path ahead of you, because we take 2 steps and then we can see a little bit more. Take another 2 steps, see a little bit more. Next minute, you're going from doing a $10 card pull, which was fun and exhilarating and stretchy and scary as hell, to doing a summit where you are literally interviewing 23 people from all around the whole entire world. And then you're really peeing your pants of fear because you're like, what am I doing? Right? Now, that may not be your path. That has been my path. And now we can literally get to where we want to go quicker and faster and keep growing and keep those targets going further and further and further. I never thought I'd be traveling across, like overseas, like to a completely different country to teach consciousness classes. That was many years ago now. But I never thought I would be connecting with human beings. And I've got some best friends all around the planet that are really high vibrational and always rooting for me. And like, I've got clients that are my best friends. Okay. It doesn't have to be hard. The hardest thing is the energetics. It's 80%, Tony Robbins says, 80% energetics, 20% strategy. And as my coaches said to me, you are the strategy. I watch other people and go, okay, this is what they're doing. I can try on their outfit. Sometimes it's going to look great. Sometimes it's not. I'll try it because I like to experiment. But what I've really found is connection, holding your standard and taking action. And obviously having something you can offer people, right? They're going to go, how do I work with you? And you can make that shit up on the spot. What do they need? What feels good to charge? But continuously growing, investing time, energy, and money into your self-development, into yourself, into your human. And this is what God truly wants, is God and your parents and your grandparents and your great-great-grandparents and so on and so forth. They want you to be happy. So do what you love, monetize your genius by showing up and doing the thing. If I hadn't asked that lady all those years ago when I was doing her hair, if she wouldn't mind coming upstairs and I could practice my mediumship on her, but I had to be done by a certain time because I had to pick up the kids from the kindergarten that was next door. Like everything I did was like hustle, hustle, grind, grind, holy shit. Like I was the hustling mum. Now I sit down because of that reading, because I listened to spirit, because I didn't listen to the doctors when they were telling me I was this or that or whatever. I literally was like, okay, there's something happening with me, for me, and I'm going to explore it. $1 million within 3 years. Multiple six figures over and over and over again, but I wasn't an overnight success. I literally played around for quite a while as I was navigating, so a good year or so. I got coaching. I literally started Facebook communities to start sharing, and a lot of my clients came to me and they paid me for that very first program I did and I said, why did you pay me? Why did you come and do this program? And I remember Rachel said to me, because the free stuff and value that you were giving at 5 o'clock every single morning, after I'd just been to boot camp, I was bright red, and half the time I had a baby on me. I was like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I was so passionate, right? She said, it was so good. I thought, what the hell is your paid stuff like? And that client was able to connect in after doing Magnificent Mediumship. So she did my first program and then she came in and did MM when that landed in. She was able to connect in with her ex or her boyfriend from when she was 19 years old, who had taken his own life. She's now married and she's got, I think 3 children, and she's happily married and she's happy. She's around about my age, a little bit younger. So it was a long time ago, but this man, he came straight to me, sat down next to me, and we were able to have a conversation and do some real deep healing. And she was so afraid of spirit. She was so afraid of dabbling and being brought up in her Māori culture. She was all like, oh my God, like the fear was just more expanded because she was like, you don't dabble with this type of stuff, and he took his life. So she was kind of pissed. And he came along, this beautiful man called Daniel, and he basically sat down next to me and we had got a deep, deep conversation. And Rachel said to me, it's taken years for me to get here, but I wasn't ready until I was ready. And doing MM helped her to be able to communicate with her ancestors, with her lineage, as well as bring through this codex that she heals the land with now. So it's pretty phenomenal. We all have a journey, we all have an experience, and we all have a story. And I would absolutely love to connect with you and hear about yours. So today we have talked about how I started my psychic mediumship business and how I have made millions of dollars, how I made $1 million within 3 years. Like I say, I don't tell exact figures because I don't know them and I don't really care. I'm not trying to sell money here. I'm trying to empower. I talked about how I built it. So I told you a little bit about my journey, and I'm not salesy and I'm not this huge big storyteller who's going to be like trying to drop things in to convince you of anything. This is just literally my story because someone might be interested and it might be a parallel story to them. And I want to inspire people to help you see that it's not an overnight thing. Confidence doesn't just grow, it's walking with fear and taking action. And I've talked about the energetics as well as the strategy that I've used with some of the golden nuggets that I've received from my very own mentors. I hope you've enjoyed this. Now, I do have to let you know, as an opportunity and an offering, Magnificent Mediumship certification is currently open. You can purchase the next round by going to my website by clicking down below or sending me a message, and I will get back to you. And we can talk about, whether you're a fit for that, or just go ahead and purchase it. If you have come through this whole entire video and you're like, I'm ready, this chick is speaking my language, I can guarantee that you are a fit for it. But also letting you know, there is plenty of free stuff. We have got this YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a beat with all the videos that are coming. And we've got some epic content coming, as well as our Instagram, which is Awaken with Victoria Bond, and our Awaken with Victoria Bond Facebook community. Okay, so come on there, come and get a reading, come and say hello, tell your friends. I'm on there often. I believe in community and connection and not just numbers. Okay, a lot of people are out there for numbers, and I'm like, no. When people come into my Magnificent Mediumship program, we've done nearly 13 rounds. We're on our 13th round coming up. I know your name. I know how many kids you have. I know your human design. I know what you're about, and I am willing and desire to connect with you on an intimate basis and even read your human design chart for you. Okay, so I do thread human design through. It's been a game changer for me in the last few years as I've been aligning to my very own design. Okay, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for being here. It has been such an honor and a privilege to be able to share my journey from a vulnerable space and really pull back those curtains to let you know what a lot of us entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs, go through, and how it's all different for all of us. And it doesn't have to take you 8 years, of course. It can take you a lot shorter. I have literally had clients work with me and then start hitting their 10K months like straight after. I remember one of my clients in America, and she had this huge YouTube. It was massive. Like she had like so many people, like 70,000 people or something on her YouTube. It was really amazing, but she still wasn't monetizing. She still wasn't showing up. She was afraid to step forward and own her gifts. She kept thinking she needed to finish her PhD, do her thesis. She came from a family of privilege and of doctors, and she said to me, like, I'm just got this privilege, like fear, like I feel like guilt. It was a privilege guilt. And with working with me, she ended up putting out her very first program and hitting over $10,000 USD. And like she was just blown away. And everyone was like, thank you, because we've been wanting to learn from you on a deeper level. So your work is for somebody out there in the world. This is why we have these platforms. Your work is for somebody. So always be yourself. Don't try to cater to the crowds. Be in your niche. Be in what serves you. I nearly didn't do mediumship because I thought that shit is crazy. I'll do business because I can learn it and then I can reteach it, right? But that is just rinse and repeat. That is cookie cutter stuff. And I don't want to be a cookie cutter. So I haven't gone and learnt from other mediums. Sure, I have, but I haven't studied under anyone intensely because this is what I came here to teach. So it shall be. Okay, my loves. Namaste. See you next time.